Hello, dear friends. Life is hard, but it's harder when you are stupid, said Senator John Kennedy. Opinion piece. The last breath. Keep your cool. Historical anomaly. Don't listen to fear. Black swan in summer. Release of information. Big revelations are coming. Solar storm subsides. Banking crisis is imminent. New mainstream media. Nigeria cancels all its paper money. A new Muslim caliphate is coming. The solar storm is abating. Zimbabwe to back its currency in gold. Shocking truth to be revealed. Let's start. Declassification of information is the process of allowing public access to documents or information that had previously been classified or restricted for national security or other confidentiality reasons. Declassification can have significant implications for history, politics, law, and other areas of study. Peter B. Meyer believes that what is about to happen is the most important news in the history of humankind. The controllers are crumbling. More than 13 centuries of disinformation will soon come to an end. Revelation means light and change for the healing of humankind and our planet. People are beginning to speak the truth with more energy and clarity, with less fear than even before in the history of humankind. Their words will be heard, preserved, and multiplied. Many things will come to light to see the world in a different perspective. Many historical facts will be investigated to find the exact truth. The fate of millions of missing children all over the world will be known. Environmental destruction, poverty, war, and disease will be ended to restore the planet and humankind to optimum health. New mainstream medias. The open source media will be launched that will disseminate whistleblower testimonies and reveal more effective remedies to fine-tune scientific research, banking, security, and culture. So-called crowdsourced media, also known as collaborative media or citizen media, are those in which content is generated by a community of users. Examples of crowdsourced media include blogs, online forums, social networks, and citizens' news platforms. In other words, in open media, information is provided by anyone who has access to an online platform and is willing to share their experiences, news, opinions, photos, and videos. This means that the community can report on events and news more quickly and directly, and that a greater diversity of perspectives and voices can be heard. Awakening. To awaken means to be enlightened. Let the light not only enter your room, but penetrate every cell of your body. The process is far more extensive than you can imagine. It is so profound that it actually increases the consciousness of every awakened person. In fact, much has already changed, and it is this change that worries the unawakened person. Patience and steadfastness in the light will be well rewarded with many miraculous changes in the near future. All light beings in this universe are encouraging and supporting you with the unparalleled power of unconditional love. Every now and then, something comes along that can change everything, and now is that time. The battle lines have been drawn for the effort to save the world. New system. In order to eliminate all fraud and dishonesty forever, the new international QFS payment system is being introduced worldwide for domestic and international gold-backed payments, making market manipulation and paper derivatives impossible. The QFS is unlike anything the world has ever seen before. it has no competition. It has no equivalent in advanced technology that any other system previously possessed. It was designed off our globe by Pleiadians and is totally new to the planet. It is superior in applied technology, guaranteeing 100% financial security and transparency to all currency account holders. With the QFS, the wealth can easily transform into value-backed currencies, which bypasses the operation of the old central banking system. There is no comparable technology to explain and understand the uniqueness of the QFS. QFS would eliminate corruption, fraud, and financial manipulation by providing a secure and transparent platform that uses quantum algorithms and advanced encryption technologies to ensure the integrity of financial transactions. The QFS is designed to be used by all countries in the world and will lead to a new global economic system based on fairness and justice. Banking crisis. Global debt is growing by more than $12 trillion every day due to the huge deficits that have destroyed all financial obligations. So, there would be no other way out than a jubilee and the abolition of all unsecured currencies. This would mean the end of the world financial system. Mr. Market has the floor. Underneath the market created by artificial intervention, a real market of real buyers and sellers is hidden. This will not stop until the breakup is a fact. Central banks collectively create more than 10 billion every day. That is inflation or reduction of the purchasing power of money. There comes a point when the supply of money exceeds the demand. Then the smartest entrepreneurs get worried. They quietly head for the exit. Then the next smartest people realize that the geniuses have left, and they too live through the same exit. Then the short sellers arrive. Prices fall and the market falls, and the market go into a free fall. It happens all the time. Bubbles burst without second thought. It happened with dot-coms, with houses, with subprime mortgages, with oil and with debt. Now we are in what seems to be the last gasp. It may continue for a while or even a little longer. Often a boom of this magnitude needs a final all-consuming phase before it explodes. Historical anomaly. According to Benjamin Fulford, the world is heading toward a historical anomaly that is unique in several thousand years. While this process will take years, a major turning point is expected around June or July, according to several sources. This is when the dark side of the great powers is likely to fall with the re-emergence of an Islamic caliphate and many other developments. Fulford believes that the new Muslim caliphate is coming, rolling from Morocco to Pakistan. Another confirmation of the bankruptcy came from Japanese diplomats, who revealed that the World Bank and IMF had a big secret meeting in Washington, where they failed to provide the funding they promised to countries like Pakistan and Sri Lanka. They offered special drawing rights, but this turned out to be useless. ECB head Christine Lagarde admitted in a speech that the fragmentation of their rules-based world order and the hegemonic leadership can happen in two ways, gradually and then suddenly, in quotes. In other words, she is hinting that the slow fragmentation we have seen is about to turn into a sudden collapse. This is why Donald Trump, in his view, this is, in quotes, this is the worst crisis in history. Another sign that something happened in February is that the money supply fell by 6.6% year on year for the biggest drop in at least 60 years, accompanied by bank runs and fiat money pumping. The number 666 hints at false data, but something is happening. Elon Musk says it is a matter of when, not if if we default. Janet Yellen says she can continue until June, possibly July, using extraordinary measures. Warren Buffett sold his entire stake in Taiwan Semiconductors because, in quotes, there is a danger of seismic activity. This sounds like a threat from the Chinese. What is less well known is that the toppling of the Russian deep state is also imminent. Yevgeny Prigozhin, founder of the Russian military company Wagner, says that a community of elites close to the state who operate independently of the political leadership is actively sabotaging the war effort in Ukraine. Reset News. The BRICS group could create the alternative to SWIFT. The world is entering the gold-backed quantum financial system. According to Judy Bington, among the gold-laden planes extracted from a tunnel under the Vatican were precious artifacts, including several older versions of Bible books showing a different apocalypse regarding to the mark of the beast. Pulling Energy from the Void by Steve Biko. Lieutenant Colonel Tom Burden makes an impassionate plea for us to move away from oil to free energy. An incredibly small amount of free energy could power the whole world for free. Africa. Central bank digital currency governments are willing to starve people to use it. Nigeria cancelled old paper money, issued new paper money, but banks only allow Nigerians to withdraw $44 of money per week in the new paper money. ATMs were deliberately left empty of the new paper money. In Nigeria, the typical person must have $40 a day to live on, but the banks only give out $44 per week in paper money. This forced people to start using digital currency. Zimbabwe avoids devaluation with a gold-backed currency. This could boost confidence and reduce inflation. Zimbabwe's central bank announces it is creating a gold-backed digital currency aimed at stabilizing their local unit from its continued depreciation against the dollar. The plan needs $100 million in gold, but this is not a definitive sign of currency revaluation, but a remedy to curb inflation. Backing a currency with gold is seen as a way to stabilize the economy and reduce inflation. This will allow those holding small amounts of Zimbabwe dollars to exchange their money for digital tokens to store value and protect against currency volatility. The tokens will help ensure that those with low amounts of currency can buy the gold units. Last year, Zimbabwe also introduced gold coins in an attempt to absorb excess liquidity and stabilize the local unit. Zimbabwe abandoned its currency in 2009, replacing it with the dollar, after a bout of hyperinflation rendered the local currency worthless. The Zimbabwe dollar was reintroduced in 2019 in a bid to revive the stagnant economy, but the government decided in June to make the greenback legal tender again to try to control rising prices. Attention! Buffett said, "Make sure you are not listening to the fear-mongering crowd. Stay away from the dramatists who want nothing more than keep you stressed and nervous. We are hearing that many good reports are still coming out, and there have been a number of important events to make it easier and more efficient. Opposing voices in this information war are being silenced. There is a lot of movement and progress going on." Real-time payments. RTP payment rails are a financial technology that allows money transfers in real time. This means that payments can be processed and settled in a matter of seconds, making them faster and more convenient than traditional payment methods. But this would not be the QFS, as payment rails have been used for decades. QFS is an encrypted messaging system that moves across multiple payment rails. The difference being that payment rails are run through a blockchain, and the consensus is made from millions of computers rather than a centralized server. The message cannot be interrupted. If it is interrupted, the message dissolves. In short, think of the global payment system as a vast network of pipes. Instead of water passing through a series of pumping stations and valves, which could shut it off, interrupt it, and add to it or change it, you turn on the tap and get a full uncontaminated glass immediately. Solar storm. Solar storm is abating. A severe G4 class solar storm has caused auroras over Europe, China, and most of North America on 23rd to 24th April is abating. The storm was caused by a solar mass ejection that hit the Earth's magnetic field. Minor storms are possible on 24th and 25th March, when the Earth exits the wake. The aurora borealis came out of the Arctic Circle at unusually low latitudes. On 23rd and 24th April, citizens of the European part of Russia saw aurora borealis in St. Petersburg, Tver, Moscow, and even in Ryazan. Breaking news. Bearing weapons is a right in the US, but being afraid doesn't give anyone license to kill. First Republic Bank to shrink after deposits fall more than expected. The military is not focused on Asian fronts. They are more focused on Europe, as shown by the movements in the air. Philippines were told to leave Taiwan and return to the Philippines. People are knocking down facial recognition towers in Hong Kong. A meteorite lit up the Indonesian sky and fell majestically into the Merapi volcano. A dark cloud obscures the sun over Istanbul. It becomes night in the middle of the day. Many found the incident terrifying, and some speculated that it was an apocalypse. Spain. Temperatures rise in Spain to summer temperatures of between 30 and 35 degrees Celsius. The exhumation of Primo de Rivera pits the government against the opposition. Clashes between the police and Phalangists after the exhumation of Primo de Rivera. The percentage of Spaniards at risk of poverty or exclusion falls to 26%. Spanish soldiers met the convoy of evacuees in Sudan until their arrival at the airport. More than 200 soldiers took part in the operation to get some 30 Spaniards and 72 other people of other nationalities, mainly Europeans and Americans, out of Sudan. The warring sides in Sudan agreed to a 72-hour truce. The US evacuates its embassy in Sudan. Military spending in Europe soars to Cold War levels. Americas. Caravan of 3,000 migrants moves towards the US-Mexico border. Mexican President AMLO says, in quote, "We are being spied on by the Pentagon." According to Benjamin Fulford, the pressure could lead to an assassination attempt on President AMLO, according to Mexican sources. They say he has cancelled all his public appearances and that the Mexican presidential plane was sold to drug traffickers in Tajikistan. Both the EU and Russia have demanded that Obrador meet with their ambassadors, but he has not been able to see them. Obrador was scheduled to meet secretly in Nicaragua with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. This came after Obrador on Tuesday accused the Pentagon of spying on his government following leaks in the media, and said he would begin classifying information from his armed forces to protect national security. Argentina raises interest rate to contain the dollar. The parallel dollar in Argentina reaches a new record high. The rise of more than 20 pesos in one day stretched the gap with respect to the value of the official currency to 106%. Detective Heredia, artificial intelligence from Chile's Public Prosecutor's Office to fight crime. Uruguay's trade unions called for a general strike on 25th April against pension reform. Former Peruvian President Toledo arrives extradited from the USA. He shares prison with Fujimori and Castillo. Indigenous people demand demarcation of their land in protests in Brazil's capital. Brazil's Embraer agrees with Portuguese companies to build planes for NATO. Cuba is committed to strengthening ties with Russia after Díaz-Canel's re-election. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.